The Silent Watchers. Admiral Sarah Chen stood at the observation deck of Lunar Base Alpha, her eyes fixed on the holographic display, showing thousands of tiny dots moving through the outer solar system. To any outside observer, these would appear to be nothing more than routine asteroid movements. But she knew better. Each dot represented a piece of humanity's greatest secret, Project Sentinel. For 50 years, humanity had maintained a carefully crafted illusion of technological mediocrity, while publicly struggling with basic rocket technology and celebrating small victories like a Mars base. They had secretly transformed the entire solar system into an interconnected defense network. The asteroids weren't just rocks. They were automated weapon platforms, sensor arrays, and stealth ships disguised as space debris. "Admiral, we have confirmation." Lieutenant Rodriguez's voice broke through her thoughts. "The anomalies we detected last month, they're definitely artificial. The Empire's scout fleet has entered the Kuiper Belt." Chen nodded slowly. They had known this day would come. The Galactic Empire had been steadily expanding through this sector of space for centuries, absorbing or subjugating every civilization they encountered. Their standard procedure was always the same. Send scouts, assess the target's technology level, then move in with overwhelming force. "How many ships?" she asked, though she already knew the answer from the sensor data streaming across her neural interface. 23 vessels, ma'am. Matching known Imperial configurations, 1 command carrier, 16 destroyers, and 6 support ships." Rodriguez paused before adding, "They're maintaining emission control, but our quantum sensors are picking up their drive signatures clearly." Chen allowed herself a small smile. The Empire thought they were being stealthy, using their best cloaking technology. They had no idea that humanity had been studying their ships for decades, analyzing every frequency, every energy signature, every weakness. Status of the Sentinel network. All systems nominal. Admiral. Ghost protocols are active, and the solar-wide quantum field is maintaining the facade. As far as they can tell, we're still launching chemical rockets and arguing about fusion power. Chen walked to the physical window, looking out at Earth gleaming in the distance. The birthplace of humanity appeared peaceful, primitive even, with its visible satellites and space stations that seemed barely more advanced than those of the 20th century. It was humanity's greatest deception. "Send the message," she ordered. "Standard Protocol Omega. Let's see how they respond to a primitive species that tells them to go away." The message was simple, broadcast on frequencies the Empire thought were beyond humanity's understanding. "This is a restricted system under the protection of humanity. Turn back now. This is your only warning." Within minutes, the Empire's response came exactly as their intelligence suggested it would. A demonstration of power. One of their destroyers jumped into the inner system, positioning itself near Mars. "They're charging weapons," Rodriguez reported, "targeting our primitive Mars colony." Chen's expression remained neutral. "Execute contingency Alpha 3. Let's show them just one of our cards." Deep in the asteroid belt, a piece of what appeared to be ordinary space rock suddenly changed. Quantum fields shifted, revealing its true nature, a hyper-advanced weapons platform. Before the Imperial destroyer could react, it fired a single shot. Not a missile or an energy beam, but a precisely calculated gravitational pulse that disrupted the destroyer's artificial gravity field, causing its own power core to implode. The destruction of their ship happened so quickly and cleanly that the Empire would find it difficult to determine exactly what had happened. That was intentional. Humanity had learned long ago that sometimes the most effective weapon was uncertainty. "Message from the Imperial fleet, Admiral. There, requesting clarification of our status and technology level." Chen's smile widened slightly. "Send them the second message. Your empire expands because you assume every species desires what you offer. We do not. We have watched, we have learned, and we have prepared. Leave now or discover why we chose to contain ourselves to one solar system." As she watched the Imperial fleet's reaction through the quantum sensor network, Chen reflected on humanity's unique path. They had discovered the Empire's existence early, long before achieving faster-than-light travel. Instead of rushing to join the galactic community, they had chosen a different path. They turned their isolation into strength, their solar system into an impregnable fortress, and their apparent technological backwardness into their greatest weapon. The Empire would soon learn that some species were best left alone, and humanity would continue its quiet work, watching the stars, advancing their technology, and maintaining their independence. Because sometimes the best way to protect peace was to be so formidable that no one dared to disturb it. First Contact Protocol. Grand Admiral Kextel of the Imperial Exploration Fleet paced the command deck of his flagship, his 4 arms clasped tightly behind his back. In 3 centuries of service to the Empire, he had never encountered a situation quite like this. The humans' capability to destroy an Imperial destroyer with technology that shouldn't exist had shaken him, but their apparent lack of interest in retribution or expansion troubled him even more. Analysis complete, sir, his science officer, Verma, reported. The weapon's signature doesn't match anything in our database. It wasn't plasma, antimatter, or any known form of energy weapon. It's as if the ship's own systems turned against it. Kextel stopped pacing. Impossible. No species at their development stage should have gravitational manipulation technology, let alone weapons of this sophistication. Show me their system again. The holographic display sprang to life, showing Sol system in detail. Chemical rockets moved between planets. Primitive satellites cluttered Earth's orbit, and solar-powered stations dotted the inner system. Everything screamed developing civilization, except for that one impossible weapon. Sir, we're receiving a transmission from Earth. They're requesting a diplomatic meeting. One representative, on their moon base. They say we can choose the time and bring whatever security measures we deem necessary. The Grand Admiral's secondary hearts skipped a beat. This was unprecedented. Usually, when a species managed to destroy an Imperial vessel, they followed up with immediate aggression or desperate pleas for peace. The humans were doing neither. Accept the invitation, he decided. But first, conduct a full spectrum analysis of their moon. I want to know exactly what we're walking into. Hours later, Kextel found himself walking through the austere corridors of Lunar Base Alpha, accompanied by 4 elite Imperial guards. The facility appeared exactly as primitive as their sensors suggested. Bare metal walls, visible life support systems, and artificial gravity that came from simple rotation rather than field generators. Admiral Chen waited for them in what appeared to be a basic conference room, accompanied only by a young lieutenant. No visible weapons, no show of force, just 2 officers and a table with refreshments that their sensors confirmed were safe for both species. Grand Admiral, Chen greeted him with a slight bow. Welcome to Luna. I trust your scans of our facility proved satisfactory. Kextel's upper eyes narrowed while his lower ones focused on the refreshments. You knew we would scan the base. Of course, just as we've been scanning your ships since they entered the Oort cloud. Chen smiled. Would you like some tea? We've prepared both Earth varieties and something our xenobiologists believed would be suitable for your physiology. The casual mention of their detection capabilities, despite the fleet's best stealth measures, sent another shock through Kextel's system. You present quite a puzzle, Admiral Chen. Your civilization appears primitive in every way, yet you possess technology that should be impossible at your development stage. Why maintain this facade? Chen poured tea for herself before responding. Tell me, Grand Admiral, in your centuries of service, how many civilizations has the Empire encountered that didn't either join you or try to fight you? None, Kextel admitted. It would be illogical. The Empire offers protection, technology, trade opportunities, and absorption of local culture, standardization of technology, and the gradual erosion of independence, Chen finished. We've studied your history thoroughly. Every species that joins the Empire eventually becomes imperial. They may maintain some surface-level cultural distinctions, but within a few generations, they think like you, build like you, fight like you. That's called progress, Kekstal argued. Unity brings strength. Unity brings stagnation, Chen countered. Your empire hasn't produced a truly revolutionary technological advancement in over 5 centuries. You expand and absorb, but you don't innovate. Humanity chose a different path. We decided to see what we could become on our own. She gestured, and suddenly the room changed. The bare walls disappeared, revealing a sophisticated quantum computing center hidden behind holographic screens. The primitive lighting was replaced by gravity-manipulated photon fields. Even their clothes shifted, the simple uniforms transforming into advanced environmental suits that were previously invisible. What you see in our system, the chemical rockets, the clumsy satellites, the struggling colonies, it's all real. We maintain 2 parallel civilizations. One develops naturally, solving problems with limited technology, pushing the boundaries of what's possible with basic physics. The other, she smiled. The other explores paths your empire has never imagined. Kekstal found himself instinctively reaching for his weapon, only to realize it had been quietly disabled the moment they entered the base. You're telling me your entire civilization maintains this deception? For what purpose? Independence, Chen said simply. And the freedom to develop without external influence. Your empire's greatest weakness is its predictability. You see a primitive species. You expect primitive defenses. You encounter advanced technology. You expect it to work like yours. We decided to be unpredictable. The implications slowly sank in. If what she was saying was true, if humans had managed to develop technologies that worked on completely different principles while maintaining a convincing facade of primitiveness, then everything the Empire thought it knew about technological progression was wrong. What do you want from us? Kekstal finally asked. Nothing, Chen replied. That's what your empire finds so difficult to understand. We don't want to join you. We don't want to fight you. We simply want to be left alone to continue our experiments, our development, our dual existence. The only question is, can your empire accept that there are some species who prefer isolation to integration? The Ghost Fleet, Grand Admiral Kekstal's decision deadline was approaching. For 3 standard days, the Imperial fleet had maintained position at the edge of the Sol system, while heated debates raged through quantum channels with Imperial High Command. The humans' revelation of their true technological capabilities had sparked a crisis unlike any the Empire had faced in millennia. Sir, Verma's voice carried an unusual tremor. We're detecting something. Multiple signatures appearing throughout the system. The holographic display transformed, and Kekstal felt his exoskeleton tighten. Across the solar system, vessels were appearing from seemingly nowhere, not dropping out of hyperspace or disengaging cloaking devices, simply materializing as if they had been there all along. They bore little resemblance to conventional starships. Some seemed to be made of pure energy, others appeared to phase in and out of reality, and still others looked like they were woven from the fabric of space itself. The Empire's most advanced sensors struggled to maintain lock on them, their very nature seeming to defy standard physics. Message from Admiral Chen, the communications officer announced. Chen's hologram appeared on the command deck, her expression neutral but confident. Grand Admiral, I believe your evaluation period is nearly complete. Before you make your decision, we thought it appropriate to reveal one more aspect of our civilization. The ghost ships, Kekstal stated, trying to keep his voice steady. How long have they been there? Always, Chen replied simply. What you're seeing is our defense fleet. While our public space program focused on chemical rockets and basic orbital stations, we explored alternative approaches to space travel. Verma's analysis scrolled across Kekstal's neural feed. The readings were impossible. Ships that existed in multiple dimensions simultaneously, vessels that manipulated quantum fields as propulsion, crafts that seem to use consciousness itself as a power source. Your empire's approach to technology is linear, Chen continued. You discover fire, then metallurgy, then electricity, then atomic power, and so on, each step building on the last in a predictable progression. Humanity chose to explore multiple paths simultaneously. While some of us worked with physical sciences, others investigated quantum mechanics, consciousness studies, dimensional physics, and concepts your empire has never considered. As if to demonstrate, one of the ghost ships near Jupiter suddenly shifted. The massive gas giant's storms responded, forming into complex patterns that Kextel's tactical systems identified as some form of data transmission. The humans weren't just building ships, they were communicating through the very planets themselves. That's impossible, Verma whispered. The energy requirements alone. Impossible by your understanding of physics, Chen corrected. But we've had centuries to explore principles your empire overlooked in its rush to expand. We discovered that consciousness can affect quantum states, that reality itself is more mutable than you imagine, and that the universe has far more layers than your science has detected. Kextel watched as one of the ghost ships approached his fleet. Despite its massive size, it left no energy signature, no gravitational wake, nothing that his sensors could definitively measure. It was like trying to scan a dream. Your empire's greatest weakness, Chen continued, is your assumption that your path of technological development is the only valid one. You see a species using chemical rockets and assume they haven't mastered gravity manipulation. You detect no quantum communications and assume they can't access higher dimensions. You've created a universe of predictable advancement patterns, and in doing so, you've become blind to alternative possibilities. The ghost ship suddenly projected something. Not a weapons target lock or a scan, but a mathematical proof. Equations cascaded across the Imperial fleet's sensor displays, demonstrating principles that simultaneously validated and completely rewrote the Empire's understanding of physics. This is just one path we've explored, Chen explained. There are others, many others. We maintain our primitive facade not out of fear or deception, but because that path still has value. Every approach to understanding the universe offers unique insights. Our strength lies not in choosing one path, but in exploring them all. Kextel found himself facing a decision that would reshape Imperial policy forever. The humans weren't just a species that had hidden their advancement. They were one that had fundamentally reimagined what advancement meant. Their dual civilization approach had produced technologies that the Empire, for all its power and reach, had never dreamed possible. The choice before you isn't just about whether to leave us in peace, Chen said softly. It's about whether your empire can accept that there are different ways to grow, to learn, to exist. We don't wish to fight you. We don't wish to join you. We simply wish to continue our exploration of reality's possibilities. As Kextel prepared his response, he couldn't help but wonder if this moment would be remembered as the day the Empire finally encountered something greater than its ability to absorb and control, a civilization that had transcended not just technology, but the very concept of linear progress itself. Breaking point. The Imperial High Command's response arrived precisely as humanity's quantum predictive models had anticipated. A massive hyperspace signature loomed at the edge of the solar system as the Empire's first strike fleet emerged. 500 warships strong, led by the legendary dreadnought Eternal Dominion. Admiral Chen watched the display from Unity Station, a facility that existed simultaneously in normal space and several higher dimensions. The station had remained completely undetectable to the Imperial fleet, its true nature hidden behind layers of quantum manipulation that the Empire's science couldn't begin to comprehend. They're deploying in standard Imperial assault formation, Lieutenant Rodriguez reported, exactly as the archives suggested they would. Chen nodded, a slight smile playing at her lips. How many millennia has it been since the Empire had to develop new tactics? They've grown so accustomed to overwhelming force being enough. The Imperial fleet's arrival had triggered automated responses throughout the solar system. The ghost ships shifted into defensive positions, though to Imperial sensors they remain nearly impossible to track. The quantum field surrounding Sol systems strengthened, subtle manipulations of spacetime ensuring that no ship could retreat into hyperspace without humanity's permission. Message from the Eternal Dominion. Rodriguez announced, Fleet Admiral Xarkol demands our immediate surrender and integration into the Empire, or face immediate annihilation. Predictable, Chen mused. They still think this is about military strength. Put me through to both fleets. The quantum communication system activated, connecting not just the command ships, but every vessel in both fleets simultaneously. Chen's voice would reach every crew member, every sensor system, every neural network. Fleet Admiral Xarkol, she began, your arrival with the First Strike Fleet represents a fundamental misunderstanding of the situation. We've spent centuries studying your empire's history, psychology, and military doctrine. We know that faced with an unexpected technological advancement, your protocol demands overwhelming force to re-establish Imperial superiority. But you're fighting the wrong battle. On cue, the solar system itself seemed to shift. The quantum fields that humanity had woven through spacetime became partially visible to Imperial sensors, revealing just a fraction of the true complexity of Earth's defenses. The ghost ships began cycling through different states of reality, demonstrating technologies that the Empire's greatest scientists had never imagined possible. Your Empire's greatest strength, its unity, its standardization, its absolute certainty in its own superiority, has become its greatest weakness, Chen continued. You've forgotten how to learn from those you consider inferior. You've forgotten that there are paths to advancement that don't follow your carefully charted course. Xarkol's response was immediate and predictable. These tricks and illusions don't change the fundamental reality. The Empire's power is based on a single path of technological development. Chen interrupted. But reality has many paths. Watch carefully. At her signal, humanity revealed just one of their hidden capabilities. The asteroid belt suddenly resonated with conscious intent, each rock a node in a vast quantum computing network. The combined processing power exceeded the entire Empire's computational capabilities by several orders of magnitude. The ghost ships shifted again, some moving in ways that shouldn't be possible, others manipulating fundamental forces that the Empire didn't know existed. It wasn't a display of military might. It was a demonstration that humanity had discovered aspects of reality that Imperial science couldn't explain. Your sensors are detecting only a fraction of what we're capable of, Chen explained. Not because we're hiding our capabilities, but because your technology literally cannot perceive them. We exist and operate on levels of reality that your science hasn't discovered yet. The Imperial fleet's formation wavered as sensors reported impossible readings, as quantum fields manipulated spacetime in ways their systems couldn't interpret, as reality itself seemed to operate according to rules they didn't understand. You face a choice, Fleet Admiral, Chen continued. You can attempt to force us into your Empire's carefully ordered structure, trying to make us fit your understanding of how civilization should progress. Or you can accept that there are mysteries in this universe that even the Empire hasn't solved, paths of development you haven't discovered, and species who can teach you if you're willing to learn. Xarkol's response was lost in a cascade of sensor data as humanity's quantum network interfaced directly with the Imperial fleet's systems, sharing mathematical proofs and scientific principles that simultaneously validated and transcended Imperial physics. It wasn't an attack, it was an education. The breaking point had arrived, but not in the way either side had initially imagined. The Empire wasn't facing a military challenge to its power, but an intellectual challenge to its most basic assumptions about reality itself. A new understanding. For 3 days, the Imperial First Strike Fleet remained in position at the edge of Sol system, its crews struggling to process what they had witnessed. The quantum data package humanity had shared was causing a revolution in Imperial scientific circles. Centuries of accepted theories were being rewritten as Imperial scientists began to grasp just how much their civilization had missed in its relentless drive for expansion. Fleet Admiral Xarkol stood before the Imperial High Command's holographic projection in his quarters aboard the Eternal Dominion. The 12 most powerful beings in the Empire waited in unusual silence as he delivered his report. The humans have demonstrated capabilities that transcend our understanding of physics, he concluded. But more importantly, they have revealed fundamental flaws in our approach to civilization itself. Their dual development strategy, maintaining both a traditional technological path and exploring alternative methods of advancement, has produced innovations we cannot match. Supreme Commander Ixal's massive form leaned forward. You suggest we simply allow them to remain independent, except that a single system can defy the Empire. I suggest, Exarchol chose his words carefully, that we have encountered something unprecedented, a species that has surpassed us not through superior military might or faster technological development, but by questioning the very nature of progress itself. In Unity Station, Admiral Chen watched the Imperial deliberations through quantum surveillance systems that existed beyond Imperial detection capabilities. Lieutenant Rodriguez stood beside her, monitoring the complex web of probability calculations that predicted possible Imperial responses. They're approaching the critical decision point, Rodriguez noted. The quantum models give a 78% chance they'll choose the path of adaptation over conflict. Chen nodded. The Empire has survived for millennia because, despite its rigid structure, it can adapt when faced with undeniable evidence of a better way. That capacity for change, buried beneath layers of protocol and tradition, is what we're counting on. The Imperial High Command's deliberations continued, but Chen could already see the subtle shifts in their quantum signatures that indicated their collective consciousness was moving toward acceptance. The evidence humanity had provided wasn't just of superior technology. It was proof that the Empire's entire understanding of civilization's development was incomplete. Admiral, Rodriguez's voice carried a note of awe. We're detecting quantum signature changes throughout the Imperial fleet. Their crews, they're beginning to perceive the higher dimensional aspects of our defense network. The educational protocols are working. This had been humanity's true strategy all along. Not to fight the Empire, not to hide from it, but to teach it. The quantum data package hadn't just contained scientific proofs. It had included carefully crafted cognitive keys that would gradually allow Imperial minds to perceive aspects of reality their civilization had overlooked. The official declaration, when it came, was unprecedented in Imperial history. The Sol system would be designated as an independent research zone, exempt from Imperial expansion protocols. But more significantly, the Empire formally requested the establishment of a scientific and philosophical exchange program. They're not just accepting our independence, Chen explained to her crew. They're acknowledging that their path isn't the only valid one. That's a bigger victory than any military confrontation could have achieved. In the months that followed, carefully chosen Imperial scientists began arriving at Sol's quantum research facilities. They came not as conquerors or even as equals, but as students eager to understand how humanity had discovered paths their civilization had missed. In return, humanity gained access to the Empire's vast historical archives, learning from the collective experiences of thousands of civilizations. The ghost ships remained on patrol, humanity's quantum defenses stayed active, and the solar system maintained its careful balance of visible primitive technology and hidden advanced capabilities. But now these served not just as protection, but as teaching tools, demonstrating to the Empire's brightest minds that progress didn't have to follow a single predictable path. We've changed them, Rodriguez observed one day, watching an Imperial scientist experience quantum consciousness expansion for the first time. Their entire civilization will be different because of this. Chen smiled, remembering humanity's long journey from fear of discovery to this moment of mutual growth. That was always the goal, not to defeat them, not to hide from them, but to show them there's more to the universe than their doctrine allowed them to see. Sometimes the greatest victory isn't in proving your superiority, but in teaching others to see the possibilities they've been missing. In the vast quantum network that humanity had woven through their solar system, new patterns were emerging. The first signs of a genuine synthesis between imperial linear progress and humanity's multidimensional approach to development. It wasn't the end of either civilization's journey, but the beginning of something new. A recognition that the universe held more mysteries than any single path of advancement could uncover. The empire would continue to expand, but differently now, with a new appreciation for the diversity of advancement paths. And humanity would continue its dual existence, pushing the boundaries of what was possible while maintaining their connection to simpler technologies. Two civilizations, each learning from the other, proving that sometimes the greatest strength lies not in power or knowledge, but in the wisdom to recognize how much more there is to learn.